What's up, guys? Here, let's see. One thing I am trying to figure out. Howdy, if you've already popped in. Um, just going to be doing some tracking today and mixing the live rig, trying to do a little bit of work on it today. But trying to pull up the chat because we had it the first time we did this, and now it's gone. Let's see, doc, chat. There we go. Excellent. Oh, whoa, not what I wanted to do. Oh, still not what I wanted to do. How do I adjust the chat? Unless it's like, oh, it's down here. That's why it's on my actual. All right. Cool. Hey, Andrew. Thanks for popping in, dude. Here, I'm actually going to keep this on screen for you guys. Let's just pick right there. That way I don't have to constantly look up to see chat. Okay, so, well, that didn't work out as I wanted. So, I guess up here it goes. But going pretty good, man. Yeah, just gonna be kind of doing some live mixing and tracking. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Well, if you can, please let me know. Still setting up all this stuff. But let's see. So it's running through to the stream, and I believe that's it. So I'm just gonna be tracking some drums real quick. Switch over to those cameras here in a sec, and then just gonna be going through some mixing. So if anybody has any questions throughout this, feel free to submit that, and I'll get you answered as soon as I can. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with all that then. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this mic. Cool. Okay. Glad you guys can hear me. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop into the other room and start tracking. You guys have probably heard these Lion songs a million times, but trying to settle on a good stream day for later this week, and trying to set up a request night so you guys can just like ask me to just play through a bunch of stuff. I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, so just gonna turn off this mic here and pop into the other room to record over one of the songs real quick. Actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and pop up my controller. Handy little fact, if you didn't know about Reaper, is you can set up your phone to be a controller. So, Nicholas, hey dude, how you doing, Nick? But yeah, like I said, let me pop over to the other room real quick. I'm gonna track drums and then we'll start messing around with the mix. about that. Alright, cool. I am back. Let me switch the camera. Awesome. Alright, back here. Yeah, I really love that ride. Hey, baby. Thanks for coming in. But yeah, so not bad. I did warm up a little bit earlier, but spent about an hour resetting up OBS and all that fun stuff. So now we get to dig in. Let me turn off the kit mics. But yeah, thanks, Andrew. Thanks you already got everything, or thanks you like everything, rather. After the last live stream, I knew I could do a little bit better, though, so just going to use this as, like, kind of see what needs to come up. So right off the bat, I definitely see that, here, I'm going to mix this based off of, whoa, not that. All right, maybe my mix. Okay, cool. So that's not bad. YouTube emojis are so cute, right? But yeah, thanks, Nick. I really dig that moving cam. I picked it up in preparation for these like live streams. I definitely wanted to make, you know, streaming and playing drums and all that stuff a little bit more interesting. So I can see snare bottom has to come up pretty heavily. Let's see, it's like input 14 on my desk, so I'm gonna turn that up quite a bit. And just for mix's sake, I will just normalize that for now. So that went up like 20 dBs. That's crazy. So maybe a bigger boost on that. Tom mics look okay. Overheads look pretty healthy. Left one's peeking out a little bit, so might bring those down. They're a matched pair of 414s going through Focusrite ISA 428. So just gonna pop over here. Cool. Did wish it had stepped controls, because that'd be awesome. Did you fix front cam? Because it looks much better. I'm still using the webcam. I did try to like color balance and stuff. I don't know. It still kind of looks shitty to me. Like looking at it up here, it looks kind of blown out, but we can always address it and fix it. I did like pop that huge like umbrella light that I have over here, so that's helping out a little bit. Hiya, Josh and Judy. Thank you guys for popping in. But yeah, Nick, I really love that ride. It's a 22-inch HH Power Bell. I recorded with one for a band. Okay, so I cannot do stuff in solo, I've learned. Okay, so if I do, I have to solo this mic as well. Sorry. Alright, can you hear me now? I think that was the issue. I just need to be conscious of that and leave my talkback on soloed. It's also getting a little hot in here. I'm actually not sure. I'll have to dig into that. I've been using Reaper for a really long time. The way that I have my studio backend routed right now, it's like I have essentially, like, this is essentially our live set. So like it just starts and stops at the end. So I added in, just for like the last couple streams, I've added in these like my actual drum recording template and some like typical mix stuff that I use that just doesn't. I just took out everything that increases the latency, and then you'll see up here I have a bunch of different routing options for the actual like in-ears and stuff. So the song and the click are up here, but our house send is up here and it's muted to the master send. So I just have that going out of a specific output and then kind of following in line every single one. So mine is right here. I just have that playing out. Let me solo something else. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Hey, Jordan, thanks for popping in. Yeah, Nick, I'll definitely look into it. Let's see if I shift click. Definitely not. So, not. Let's see. Yeah, I'll definitely have to dig into that because that would be helpful because I tend to like to solo a lot of stuff, at least just to check gates and such. But yeah, so to answer your question, Derek, if that is you, I am just mixing the live stream rig basically. I just recorded drums just a sec ago to one of the Lion songs, just to get a little bit of a feel of like how the kit is actually coming through and just getting started. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll pop in and answer. Here, I'm gonna shift this actually because I really want the chat to be down here. Don't want to miss you guys. I'm gonna bring this down. Thanks, Jordan. I always see you pop into new videos and uploads and stuff, so I appreciate your support. I definitely couldn't do YouTube without, you know, people watching and things like that, so I really appreciate you sticking around through the years. I know you've been around for quite a bit. Alright, cool. Let's see, can I resize this? Okay, so I can do that. Alright, this is a little bit of a janky rig today, but we're working on it. I'm gonna have Chels help me like design graphics and like figure out a way to get the chat and stuff like figured out. But yeah, Boogie, I forgot to answer you. I did heighten the camera, the whole tripod. I needed to like tighten up some stuff, but the tripod should be all set now. It's like an extra foot up, so I'll have you help me finish that off. Do I find myself using any of the Apollo preamps? I used the 1073 for a session and the 610 for a different one, and they really impressed me. I did use the demo mode of it for a while. I really liked the 1073, but having gone back and forth like between the regular just like clean one and then like trying it in post with a couple of like I have like these Lindell audio channels, and they're like a nice like kind of emulation on that Neve plugin or that Neve like pre-sound, and these are great, but I found myself wanting that kind of flexibility in post rather than committing to it like at the source, because a lot of the times I'll mix with the SSLs. Those are like my go-to, the E channel especially, and I felt like if I was locked into the Neve and it just wasn't working out, like when I got to mixing, then I would have to like scrap the toms a lot of the times, like because I mostly used it on like toms and snare, but I did like it. I think if I was cutting more like rock and roll stuff, I think I would probably like those like dedicated plugins on the UAD stuff a lot more. Which one record better, cheap drummers or expensive drums? I think expensive drums inherently just sound better, but you know, anything like intermediate level, so like in the $1,000 range, is probably gonna do you okay. That PDP X7 that I used for years was awesome, and I paid like $1,100 for that, I think, brand new. Okay, so let's not bypass the dynamic section. Nice. Yeah, I kind of figured it was you, Derek. I feel like you're more the online persona, so I see you pop in and around a lot more than Steve does. But good to know Steve pops in as well. I can't read your name, but thank you for popping in. Much love to Brazil. They actually did a software version of their channel strips, and they bang. Yeah, dude, I really love the SSL stuff. But every time I try to switch away from this E channel, this specific Waves emulation of the E channel, um, it it's hard for me to get away from. And I think it's just because I'm so used to the way it sounds and how it plays that I kind of have a hard time getting away from it. Because I've tried other SSL emulations and they're actual like I don't know if I have it on this system. No, I have it on my home rig, but I have an SSL, the actual like licensed one that they put out, and I just couldn't like get my workflow to work with it. Hey Blair, I'm working right now, so you can't be in here, okay? Sorry. One sec, guys. Okay. All right, cool. Back. Sorry, my niece likes to hang out with me whenever she like gets home from school when I'm still at the studio. But I told her I'm live streaming right now, so she can't. Uh, I have not tried the McDSP stuff. Hey, Absurd Art. Thanks for joining in. Howdy, howdy from Texas. But yeah, I haven't tried the McDSP stuff. I know Glenn pushes it a lot. But yeah, it seems pretty good just from like what Glenn gets and accomplishes, obviously. There's like some weird honkiness on that. Just switched snares too, so might be that. Yeah, there's the culprit. It's like this weird harmonic at like 230. So what I usually like to do for this is I will boost the actual low end that I want. There's like another weird peak here in like the kind of gross mid-range for drums. And also these cuts are pretty extreme. I'm just kind of testing stuff. Actually, I'll do that. I usually like to low pass snare sometimes, but definitely don't. I'll do that on like the actual bus of it. I'm just trying to get rid of those like nasty noises and stuff on that specific snare top. There's just yeah, so that just gives us a little bit of that fat bottom end while getting rid of those some of those like nasty honky mid harmonics. Yeah, I really like the McDSP stuff, and I think I watched a video of his recently where he was like kind of showing how he processes drums, obviously, or something, and he was showing how you could like specifically attack the harmonics on each like drum frequency, and it like speeds up his workflow. But honestly, like in my own workflow, SSL E channel and the fab is like all I need for most drums, because like if I want that SSL kind of sound, but if I'm finding I'm having like a weird issue somewhere in the spectrum, then I'll just like detail it out with fab. I find with a nasty snare harmonic, it's usually going to have something pretty nasty in the second harmonic, 2 times that frequency. Yeah, so I guess by your logic, Nick, that is right, because where I boosted is like 200, and where the issue is at is like 516 and like 330. So it's like almost almost in that same ballpark. But yeah, I definitely agree. Okay, so I'm going to kind of eyeball the snare bottom just because we did boost it by 20 dB, so I'm hoping that at least the ghost notes will pop through. Let's go over to, I think the pre-chorus has like that cool ride thing. I like it, it's just got a little bit too much of that like sizzly top end. Okay, not bad. And then let's see what I had on my bus. So yeah, so same thing, just trying to tackle those mid-frequency or those nasty notes. But yeah, let's get past that. He may have been using the AIX stuff. Yeah, see, Glenn pushes like a ton of plugins, which, you know, I don't mind. I love picking up some new plugins if they seem like they will like help my workflow. But having done this for so long, I kind of like I've learned the handful of tools that I really like to use, and I now am looking for stuff that either like combines like two plugins or does something completely new. So I've been on kind of like a saturation plugin kick lately. I was a sucker and bought that new magma tube from Waves when it was on sale, and I've been really liking that. And I think I also picked up the saturator. I can't remember what it's called. Nah, I don't know. I picked up several like saturation plugins over the holidays because of all the sales. But yeah, I find myself like if it's just like another EQ or like compressor, like I already have so many of those that I've just like figured out the ones I like, and if I'm going for something specific, like I'm looking for like a specific characteristic, and like I'll usually reach for that. But most times, like if I'm working on like a vocal, it's like a 76 clone and like a LA2A clone, and that's it, you know. If I need like a specific flavor, like a different compressor from another brand isn't what I'm usually reaching for. Yeah, and at least the AIX stuff has like, you know, different processing type. It's not just like a standard move EQ buttons and like all that stuff, so it's at least got some appeal. Nick, it's weirdly enough, I do a lot of like pop stuff, like indie pop kind of stuff. I get the occasional rock band, and like the metal stuff I usually only get if like I'm playing drums for it. Like a lot of the metal bands here in town have so many other like producer options and other studios that they can go to that the kind of like the workload kind of evenly splits between all three of us. Saturn, that's what it is. I picked up the Saturn recently as well. That's a great. Not on the system yet. Boo. But yeah, I like download all my like test plugins at home, and then if I actually stick with them and use them on mixes, then I usually bring them over here. figured it. I was like, all right, I got my parallel and my distortion bus going at the same time. What's up, drumming dude? Yeah, I didn't know how today's stream would go. I'm glad that you think mixing is interesting, Prince. I'm usually just like, will people actually like care if I'm like going through all this stuff? You know, like I obviously enjoy this stuff. I do this for a living, but I'm looking at moving with my studio out to Dallas in the next couple of years, and it feels like being in Nashville, I'm working with a ton more people on the production end than I used to. Yeah, I feel like I know I hear about a ton of people going out to Nashville and like having a great time and success with it, you know. But I definitely think that there's like pockets of like what is needed in like certain areas. I know Dallas has like a pretty healthy like music scene, so if you do move out there, I'm sure you'll have like great luck. I'm friends with a pair of dudes who own a studio out there. I think it's called Black Oil Recordings or something along those lines. But super solid dudes. I've known them for a long time. Okay, what happened here? Why is my track all messed up? Alright, I'm not gonna question that. Yeah. As long as all my set list and stuff works when I need it to, we'll be fine. But is crazy. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring down the ride and the hats. Stereo pair, so I always affect those evenly. And if you've looked at my kit over the years, it's an old Sylvia Macy trick that I picked up on one of her videos. She mentioned doing one of the, I can't remember if it was one of the Tool records or one of the other like numerous records she's done, but she likes to point all the microphones at the snare drum. So my hat mics obviously pointed at the hats and the rides and stuff, but everything like kind of points inward. Like there's no, aside from like the overheads, there's no like flat 90-degree profiles on anything. Everything kind of has like a 45 tilt to try to accentuate that kind of snare. Nasty frequency in the overheads, but I don't want to cut that much, so let's just roll back a little bit, make it a little bit wider. Pretty crazy cut going on here. So this is an old mix template that I basically just brought over. Okay, cool. Just making sure you guys can still hear me. But yeah, it's just like an old mix template that I used for like an old Volbeat cover that I did like a year ago. So this last live stream that we did, I kind of just popped this mix in and just ran with it because we were running behind. But yeah, not sure why I did that. I mean, the low cut makes sense, but maybe there was just like some crazy harsh highs. Yeah, I might have just not liked that top end at the time. I think it's okay now. I just want to deal with this like kind of peaky 5K range. And then maybe a little too much on the compression. It's definitely making those cymbals ring out way too long. What's up, Morgan? Thanks for popping in, dude. Yeah, so it's just that ride mic being friggin' crazy. So let's just try adjusting those as well. Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate that, Morgan. I try. My goal has never been to be the best drummer in the world. I've always just, I just really like playing drums, and I wanted to get as good as I personally could. There's definitely drummers that are better than me, I think. But I definitely appreciate when people say stuff like that. It means a lot. Whoops. I know for sure I did not solo my talkback. Alright, let's do that. And then, yeah, so that's kind of the order I usually do stuff into. It's like snare, kick, or kick, snare, whichever one I'm feeling. Overheads, room, and then just like a general balancer, like getting rid of like blatantly obvious stuff that I'm hearing. Okay. I've also got a bunch of like crazy sends and stuff. Let's get those going just to the... Let's just get those going straight to the bus. Okay, so not bad. They're just a little high-endy when the gate's cutting off, so I don't think I did a boost anywhere, but a lot of the times it's like if you look on my like drum rig, it is oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Morgan. I know a lot of people came to the channel like based off of those videos, so I kept doing them for a while, and just different stuff takes priority, Okay, so Tom 2 is not getting engaged, neither is Tom 1, so Tom 3 is pop. Oh yeah, there's a big boost at 5K, so let's bring that back. Okay, cool. So that's not bad. I definitely want more kick, but I've been trying to run this like kick trigger live because I'm on a lot of inputs. I'm using 15 on the kit, and I'm swapping between the room mic mono and this talkback on my desk, and my drum talkback is taking up my old snare 2 mic channel, but I've learned to live without it. So I'm hoping that with this upcoming weekly stream, I'll be able to have like both mics simultaneously. So Chelsea will be stream master again, and we'll be able to like real time like talk to me while she's sitting here at the desk. Okay, so toms are everything's sounding pretty okay. Okay, so everything's sounding pretty okay. I mean, at least for the live rig. It's not my finest mix, but it'll do for this. Toms can still come down a hair. Very nice. Okay, yeah. This is pretty solid. But yeah, Morgan, I do know Falling in Reverse. Chels actually has a bunch of, or she doesn't have a bunch of Falling in Reverse on her playlist. Her Spotify playlist just recommends her a lot of Falling in Reverse. A lot of their older stuff from like 10 plus years ago, I think. But yeah, I know Luke Holland's playing for them now, so super stoked for him. That's a great gig. And yeah, they're the kind of band that, you know, they just sell out anywhere they play in the world. So, great band. Prince, appreciate it. It's live drums are just those that kind of thing where I've been doing it for like a really, really long time, and I'm just like never getting them to sound the way I want to in my head. And that's just like the ever like growing process of like I'm trying to nail like these sounds in my head that like I just can't attain at the moment, and it's just been a constant evolution of that. But I appreciate when people tell me that stuff sounds good. It really means a lot. Fern, you're an awesome drummer, and more importantly, you're incredibly easy and great to work. Oh, I appreciate that, Derek. Thank you, man. I always try to be, you know. I've never wanted to be like the douche in the band or like the dude that's hard to work with, you know. Like if I'm gonna do something, I try my hardest to do it, and I always just make the process as fun and as easy as possible. Like, that's what matters most, you know? Like, you're making music, it should be fun. Okay, cool. So now that we've got, you know, general balance going, let's go ahead and pop on the parallel bus. Really want that kick drum to be like obnoxiously clicky. So we're nuking that kick and snare on that parallel chain. And then one of my favorite plugins to use for distortion is this decapitator, especially on like drums. Especially if I need that like really, really nasty like distorted sound, I always reach for this. Sometimes get a little woofy in the low end, so I'll roll that off. That's at like 70. It's alright. Might bring that down, actually. Let's go like 60. I'm just getting rid of that like woofy sub end. Morgan, yeah, maybe I'll drum a little bit before I wrap up. Like I said, I wanted to try to test the live stream right now. Or I'm just like kind of working on stuff for the live stream, but I want to test like a Spotify, see if I can get the Spotify to run to my ears and out of the stream simultaneously, because then that'll set us up perfectly for requestable, like a requestable night. But yeah, I might drum after this. We'll see. But no, Jordan, answer your question. We have not been. I've never seen Slipknot live, actually. Definitely a bucket list. It's just every time they've come anywhere near here, I'm either not in town or tickets are just insane. You know, especially in Austin, they just like to gouge the ticket prices. We were gonna see them a couple summers back, I think during COVID, and or like right before COVID, before everything started getting canceled, and we were debating either driving to Austin, because it's like an hour drive from us, and paying like $300-400 for seats, like not even great seats, just like middle of the row seats. And I think we ultimately settled on driving to Dallas instead, because the tickets were like $50 a piece for first section seating, which was insane. So I was like, well, that's way better than spending like quadruple that just to have one ticket in Austin. Like, who cares about the drive, you know? Like, Chelsea has some family out that way, so we can just visit them for a couple days too, you know? But that concert ultimately got canceled, as well as I think I also had tickets for Limp Bizkit and Spirit Box, and they got canceled like around the same time as well. So yeah, so huge bummer on all those fronts. I haven't been to like a concert like for a band like that in a really long time. Not be at that high. Okay. Damn, all these things are running just live. But yeah, thanks for popping in, Derek. No worries. I know phone stuff's no fun. Dealing with dead batteries is no fun. But yeah, thanks for popping in, dude. Yeah, you see, if I didn't even take the time to go today, I wouldn't have realized that all of my buses were running out through the main speakers as well as through my controlled send. So, good. Too loud, so let's bring that back down to like 3. Cool. All right, that sounded pretty okay. Let's go ahead and let's see, where am I monitoring through right now? Okay, yeah, so I'm monitoring through my send, which is like 8 dB down, which explains why it's so quiet, for me at least. Alright, so let's pop over to the stream side, so I can hear what you guys are hearing. going to keep ozone on this. I just want to see what it thinks should be fixed. Obviously, the guitars are way too loud, so I'll address that here in a sec as well. But let's just see. Alright, so it wants tons of this, like, mid-range, but there's no vocal in it, so if there was a vocal, it would occupy that space, so I'm not going to worry about that. But yeah, ozone is great just for identifying some stuff like this. So there's, like, some funkiness at 150 and 521. That's probably, like, the snare drum and the kick drum. And it wants a little less of 55. Okay, yeah, so I'm not going to keep this on because the latency gets crazy, but what we'll do instead is I'll just put a fab filter, and we'll target those same frequencies. Super wide band, but let's go ahead and just have that kiss everything. Doing a little peak action, so let's swap that around. I've also got it set up that hopefully this week I won't have to constantly mute my talkback on the drums. So anytime I play on them, I set up a side chain to go ahead and just... Okay, not bad. So let's go ahead and pop down instrumentals and SFX a bit. We'll just bring them in one at a time. Okay, cool. Alright, so now, yeah, there's like a bunch of... This project is a mess. I need to go through and like... Well, this is me going through it now and cleaning up all that stuff. But it's also because whenever we were running stuff for this last run and for the last whiskey show that we did, we have a Focusrite, the Scarlet 8, I think? The rack-mounted one. And that's the one that I have all the sends routed to, so... When it's synced up to my Apollo now, all of the sends are like wacky, but everything's getting fixed one thing at a time. it definitely sounded better than it did last stream. I just want more cymbals now. Cool. All right. Now that all the woo, yeah. So it sounded pretty good now. Still needs a little bit of tweaking. There's like some, I don't know. It's like this dry MIDI like low mid range. I need to address a little bit on, but it sounded pretty good. Next thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of length to the drums. So I create, since my tracking room is kind of small, it's like, here, let me just show you guys. Oh, dang, my overhead cam is off. Okay, yeah, so my drum tracking room isn't that big. It's like a 12 by 12 room, so I have it like completely cleared out as much as I can and just treated it to be diffused. That way it still has some liveliness to it when I'm recording drums, but you just can't get that like big drum sound without actually tracking in a big drum room. So the next best thing I can do is like make these kind of fake rooms and then just send stuff to them. So I usually have the drum room bus going to these. Whoa. No worries, Jordan. Thanks for popping in. Like I said, I will be back on later this week. If you haven't seen the poll on my community tab, please be sure to go vote. I'm trying to pick a date that works best for like everyone going forward. I just did Thursdays and like a Friday this last two just to kind of gauge and test stuff. So if there's a specific day that works best for you that's not on the choices, feel free to comment, and once we get that date picked out, I'll pick out a time slot as well. So enjoy your seafood, Jordan. See you later. Nice, cool. So we get this really nice like snare pop going from this, especially because I have it. I have an upward expander on it, so whenever I hit the snare drum, it is sending to the room bus on 3 and 4 that triggers the compressor that just peaks it up. So I don't get a lot of that like nasty cymbal wash. I just get like the initial snare pop coming through. Cool. So that sounds pretty cool. Let's try to bring it in with the actual drum like kit, and I'll leave that at 0. I've been trying to get all my stuff at 0 lately, so we'll manipulate the output gain over here. Sound pretty good. All right, and then, like CLA says, why just one? Run with more rooms. So let's check out this next room. And then this one has a IR of, I think it's Studio. Oh, that's just a Hall. So it's just a Hall verb. I can't remember if I loaded that one or if that's just the default that comes on this IR. but it sounds great on drums, so I use it all the time. It's just a little bit of different flavor. Yeah, so I just took out some like harsh cymbal stuff here, cut at like 300 and a cut at 3K, 3.5K. And then I usually opt for the SSL compressor, but for whatever reason I just did it on the 76 instead. But yeah, just a slightly different flavor to this. It's like more honky, and sometimes that's not a bad thing. So let's try to bring this one up with the other two and the drum room. Alright, cool. So that's pretty cool. It just does something cool with that snare drum that I like. It's kind of honky on its own, but if you just like tuck it in the right way, it's like kind of fills in like that missing range that the snare should be occupying if you were like listening back to it in an actual room. And lastly, we got the drum, what I have labeled as a drum medium room. I think in the order of like how these are, this is like room far, room medium, and then room close. I just never relabeled these. Okay, so let me set. Cool. Alright. Yeah, sometimes have a problem with certain plugins not playing well. So I really like this LX480 to make like a drum plate. Don't like the Hall. I do like the Hall, I just don't need it right now. And then we'll roll with the SSL. Alright, and it's very quiet, so let's boost that. Okay, so something in the chain broke. Cool. Scoop out some of that nasty low end. Alright, cool. Here, real quick, I'm gonna relaunch Reaper. Some of the plugins got screwed up, so I'm gonna lose audio for a sec, but be right back. Hop over to the live client. Alright, I'm back. That was very fast. those rooms again. Okay, so that chorus room got freaking crazy. Am I crazy or did this change? Yeah, this is on Start Me Up now. It was on a bluey on room. Sweet. Alright, now I'm going to save all that as a template. Let's do Fern streaming, drum mix, and routing. And talkback routing. Yeah, because I definitely don't want to keep building this whole thing in our in our live session rig. I definitely would rather have this just as like a template that I can apply to any project. So if I want to just open up a blank one and just run like a suggestion stream, it's awesome. Yeah, so now it's sounding way better than where we started at today. So I'm going to go ahead and pop into the other room again. And I'm going to try recording with all of this now, because that's the important part. If all of this has like a ton of latency or it sounds wonky in my ears, then I'm not going to be able to use this anyways. So let's try to, here, let me axe that because I'm not even using that room mono for this mix. But yeah, so that's like the deciding factor of all this. Like if I can't record with this stuff real time, then there's no point in me doing all of this. And I'll have to just quickly address the stuff that might be causing latency, but so far everything's on 0 latency or very little latency, so hoping it all works out okay. But yeah, let's try this out. So I'm gonna mute the stream going out here and bring back my mix. Cool. All right. Let's do it, guys. All right, so just let me know if you guys can hear me on this mic. I can't look at the screen right now, but I just want to make sure that this thing is actually working the way I set it up. But everything's sounding pretty good. There is a slight delay, I think, on the trigger track, but I can probably set that up to just go out to you guys instead. So I'll address that here in a sec. But let's just try this. Let's actually try a different song. You guys have been listening to me mix this one for like an hour at least, so. right, not bad. Let me switch over back to the other room. All right. So, that was cool. That sounds pretty good. Freebird! All right, awesome. Glad to hear everything works in that room. So so the last time we streamed, it was pretty stressful because we showed up and we didn't even show up like super early. We showed up like 30 minutes before stream was supposed to go live. And I thought that was more than enough time, but technically everything fell apart due to like an OBS update. And then when I came today, my plan was to start way earlier, but because of a Windows update, none of my cameras were like working with OBS, so I had to reassign everything. But I'm glad that today was able to do that. So I'm hoping that the stream later this week, we won't have to deal with any of this. Okay, so what's stream hearing? Dang, your mix is better than my in-ear mix. Alright, I gotta address some stuff then. Let's go through that. Yeah, in my ears the click is whew, alright. Hey, Millrock, or Millie Rock, I'm kind of blind, so I can't really see your name. And Silly One, thank you guys for joining in. Okay, cool. So now that we have that all situated, I've got my ear rig going. Everything sounds pretty okay. I'm actually going to overwrite the other template that we just saved. Oh, and I needed to... Yeah, so for this kick trigger, since it's a little bit delayed, I'm not going to send it to my ears. I'm just going to send it to you guys. Whoa, not the talkback. Real quick, let's pop. Well, let's see if that snare adjustment I made worked out. Okay, that's pretty okay. I can run that a little bit hotter. Toms look healthy. Overheads are near peaking, but that's okay. Cool. All right. So yeah, that's all looking okay. So let's just duplicate this. Nope. I don't want everything. I just want this. All right. I'm still... No hardware output on that. No hardware output on that either. Okay. So I know exactly what that is. Yeah, so those are just two sends. This is 178. Okay, so now everything seems to be routed okay, so let's go back to the stream audio. Okay, so yeah, so this is the part where it gets a little difficult. So now that we've got the drum mix, we've got all the routing corrected, we're going to save this as my updated streaming thing. Streaming mix and talkback routing, yep, replace that. All right, so now that all of that is good, the only thing that I need to figure out is how to run audio for you guys. So let's, for example, let's get out of this. Cool. Okay. So if I did this right, everything should still work. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. This will be the new blank project that we'll have stuff to do from. We'll save this in. I will set up this folder for this. Default live stream, rig, and talkback. All right, cool. So this is the now default setup. It looks like OBS is still picking up my audio, so that should be good over there. So now the only thing, we'll go over to Spotify, and now I have to set up a routing on here. And then after this, I will be all wrapped up for today. So let's do something in the neighborhood of like -3 dB. And then for funsies, I'm just going to run through a Paramore song. If you guys would please let me know if it's too loud or not loud enough. We're just going to play with this. And this like upcoming stream, you guys will just put in requests, and Chelsea or I will be able to just pop these in. So let's go through Decode. I love Decode, and I feel like playing it right now. I'm in the wrong album. Let's just look it up. All right, cool. So I will see you guys in the drum room. bring that down a tad. All right. So just on my ears, it's pretty freaking loud. I can turn it down remotely from here. All right, one more. That's not good. All right, back on the desk. Yeah, a little bit of a mishap. Yeah, everything's super loud. I don't know. What to explain that. So maybe just bring down the volume a bit. But yeah, so drum-wise, volume is good. Bit loud. Okay, it's good. Yeah, so we'll just have to mess with that. I'll listen back to the playback of the live stream and kind of get that addressed. But yeah, the latency is the big thing because there's a 256 millisecond delay, which it's like a quarter of a second almost. So I need to find a way either to make the Spotify player have latency or figure out a way to run it through like Reaper. That way everything is coming out of stream at the same time. But we can mess with that. Or I might be able to... Properties... Advanced audio properties. Perfect. Okay. So desktop audio, 256 milliseconds. And monitor off. Cool. So, should be okay now. Yeah, it was blaring on my ears, so I had to like turn down my mixer, and I was trying to adjust stuff on my phone and everything. It just was not working. But alright, let's try that one more time, and then I'm going to have to wrap up for today. I gotta get back home and cook us some dinner. It's a fun song. I need something not super difficult right now because I'm like not super warmed up. Let's just go to Riot. Riot's always a fair fun game. Cool. Alright. Here, let me fix the drum rig. Sorry, I had to address the tripod. It's like one of the legs keeps retracting, so the drum cam is like going sideways, which definitely don't be needing all that when there's like tons of gear on it. Hey Nikolai, thanks for joining us. Not really recording anything right now. Mixed my drums, so now everything's a little bit better sounding and a little bit more processed sounding as well. Right now, I'm just trying to get the initial balance down on Spotify. That way I can do like a request stream later this week. And but yeah, so I'm gonna run to the other room and play. Let's see, is this thing? Sorry, I was talking the whole time. I thought I was up, but yeah, I'm gonna go over to the drums now. Let's start this over. Cool. Alright, well, thank you guys for joining me today. Kind of a random drum recording, mixing, live stream, further testing. But yeah, thank you guys for all for popping in. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream today. I'm getting kind of hungry. But yeah, please vote in the community tab if you have not already. Pick the date for the live stream this week. And I will see you guys later this week. Thank you guys again. Let me pop over to the other room. That needs a sandbag. All right, back on the desk. So yeah, thank you guys for popping in today. It was a ton of fun, and hope you guys had a good time as well. A few months ago, thanks for the energy. Started watching you say, but yeah, thank you, Nikolai, for kicking in since those Slipknot covers. I know a large part of the audience came in initially on those wave of videos, so it's cool to see people still sticking around. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Yeah, I figured you would be, baby, so I will call you here in a sec when I get off. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out today, and I will see you guys back here in a few days. Later, y'all. Much love. Bye-bye.